Welcome back to Angels and Bob's Factorio, and it's time to get some steel processing done. Well, I've just done that, so let's move on. No, this is just a temporary thing, honestly. There's only 6 furnaces here, and it just gets me a few steel that I can use to get going with some other bits and pieces. One of which is all the way down, where are you? Oh, well, it's all the way over here. Let me just try and get past these machines. Down here you can see a warehouse at the very bottom right. Imagine that as just a really big box. This has just got slag in it at the moment, so I'm just boxing that up. So I use the steel to make that, and of course a steel axe or 2. Yeah, I've got another one there if I need one, and that's pretty handy. So we'll get that going. To get further, however, in this episode we want to get a better red and green sign set up. Well, we don't have green at all, but we need a better red set up. So let's get something along those lines set up, shall we? So let's just start out with a similar thing that we've done before. So I don't know, maybe around here. We're going to set this to gears. And it's, give me that back. Same problem with the research screen. It just interrupts whatever you're trying to do. So gears, and then let's just use a few of the, what do you call them? Level 1 versions of these assembly machines. Or something like that. And we're going to bring in iron and copper, because we're going to need science packs. And that's going to need copper and iron gear wheel, of course. So we need to get those sorted. To do that, let's just bring in iron here temporarily, let's say. And we want it to come up to here. In fact, hang on, we can be a bit... depends how much iron we need, but we can be a bit nicer than that in that we can just say... bring it up to here. And then have the rest of our setup cleaner than we normally would. So if we put in a couple of inserters there and a couple of outputs here, then we can have a belt going this way. And just give that to all of them. Pop in our factory sort of power. And then we can just take this back down to wherever the belt is. Well, wherever the so-called main bus. We won't have a main bus for long in Angels and Bobs. It will end up going somewhat robotic. Let's just put it that way. So we've got this. We need to then just feed in some of these, which is, again, fine with the placement of the power poles. So we're feeding in iron gears. And then on the other side, we're going to need some copper, just as we've got before. Let's just put this down here, and we'll sort out wherever the main bus or whatever I'm going to call it temporarily will go. I'm running out of inserters, but quick plug for the last episode. That's not much of a problem. Let's just take 50, shall we? Yeah, there we go, 50. And yeah, we can just feed these in. Now, I'm assuming this is similar to the vanilla Factorio amount of assembly machines you need for each science pack, but if it's not, that's no big problem. We'll sort it out either way. I'm going to need some long iron inserters, but I think they just use these ones as fuel, do they? Yeah, because we're down to 35. So then we just want a belt going out. Yeah, anywhere from here. The only thing I'm leaving space for really is the green science, because the green science, if I put it over here, is going to maybe output onto this belt, but green science is actually bigger by far, I think, than vanilla Factorio. So yeah, we're going to have to sort out that. Let's just research whatever red science there is. And where are my long-handed inserters? Okay, so we should have red science being produced. And of course, then we're going to need some labs. There's a couple of labs types. We don't want those burner labs anymore because we're now running on electric. There's this electromagnetism lab, but I've made one right here. Now, I assume that because there's a little red, what you call it, a little red symbol over this, it can only take red science packs. However, the good part about it is that the next item up, this, actually takes the prior tier as a component. So I can make 5 of these and not have to worry too much because I can just pick up the 5, craft the next component, and pop them back down again. No big deal there. Whoops. So yeah, let's just actually feed these in, and I'm also going to want some power poles. I should actually automate those as well. It's only iron and copper plate, and we've probably got those on that little industrial area we've got for all of our little components there, so we could actually do that. However, for now, I guess I can just put, let's just move it up to its maximum range. There. And then we can feed in red science going this way. Hopefully in this mod pack, this mod, they can be passed through from lab to lab. Makes it easier to structure things, but it may have some bottlenecks later on. You have no power, and I need power poles. Yeah, let's wait for that to complete. Okay, so all the labs are now built. I went on to build the tier 2 versions, if you like, so they can take both red and green science, of which we don't have any green yet. We're about to fix that one in a minute. Before I move on to that, I do actually also want, in addition to these electric mining drills, I want to be able to automate these machines themselves. So to be able to make assembly machines, at least ones, or maybe twos at some point. So let's work backwards, shall we? I need assembly machine 2s eventually, but they need basic electronic boards. So let's just say take 1 for now. So I need burner assembly machines, electric motors, and iron gear wheels. Okay, so we've got electric motors here. Iron gear wheels isn't terribly hard to make locally, and to be honest, that's probably the easiest way to do it. So let's just assume we're going to come past here with this line like this, and assume we're going to feed in to this machine here. All right, don't worry about the assembly machine 2s for now. We can just grab these and upgrade them on the fly. So we now need burner assembly machines. So let's say burner assembly machines. And you need motors, stone brick and iron. Stone brick and iron are both here, so you can get both of those. What you're not going to get is motors, so let's grab the motor recipe. Put that in place. That is iron and gear, so we can get iron for there. And gears we're going to get here. Okay, again, this is something we can automate from there. We can direct feed from the top into here, from the top into here, and then from there into there. However, we still do need gears on this side, so let's just bring this out and then down. Where was it? Was it this one? No, was it here? Yeah, it's there. Okay, so we then just need power, I guess, on this side. Yeah, and I'm going to speed this up, actually. Just by putting those in and then upgrading to a level 2 one. Gears just always are kind of the bottleneck for these systems, so we need to get gears out first. So those are going to happily produce these, and I'm going to need to store them somewhere, so yeah, that's not as easy. Let's just put one there and one there. And I'm going to need to put a long-handed inserter in place. There we go. So we can now box those up if we want to. Let's just take a look at the second one. Need basic electronic boards, iron gear wheels. The funny thing is we already have those. And electric motors, which we already have as well. Yeah, so if I want that, then the only thing I'm missing is the basic electronic boards. So what if I just went ahead and did something like this? Let me just grab these for a second, remove this. And if we can direct insert ish, say ish, something like that, maybe. And let's just put a balancer here, something like this. That's horrible. That's horrible. Stop. It's going to put this, unfortunately, it's going to put these machines on the wrong side of this belt. Huh. Okay, then let's just insert directly, shall we? Where's my level 2? There we go. You are going to make me the second tier. That is really inconvenient with these two belt locations, so I am going to have to split things off, but not terribly hard to deal with. Just a little bit annoying that it couldn't be more compact, but otherwise everything should feed in, and we're going to need a splitter on this side for these. Again, assuming these can produce enough. We don't actually need to go that way. That should do. And then I can feed into a box right about here. Hopefully. The only thing it needs is basic electronic boards, so I'm going to need an input box for now, because I'm not belting all of that over. Where's my basic electronic boards? Let's just pop all those in for now. And you should have everything you need to make. There you go. It's making level 2s. So for now, I just pop over here, ignore all this, I haven't set up those smelteries yet, and go and pick up some of my... Why are you out? What are you missing? Are you missing the basic electronic components, which I haven't moved? At this stage of the game, we're going to have to be running around all over the place, picking up basic electronic components. Right. There should be some in here, at least. Quite a few. Yeah, quite a few. Let's just take 800. That's all I can fit in my inventory. Until I get the next research, which we should actually research. Yeah, let's just take the algae processing, just as a matter of course. And let's put you all in here, and they should then make some more basic electronic boards. All right, let's get on with green science then, because we've got the ability to make the assembly machine 2s, assuming I have enough basic electronic boards, the 4 for each one of them, so that should give me a bit of a stockpile. Yeah, we've got 4 of them. So what do we need to make first? We need to get the recipe, and for some reason when I search for single use, there's problems. Doesn't find it, except that I can see it literally on the screen right there. Single. I'm not spelling single wrong. Single. No. It doesn't even find it with SI. S? S works. Is that not I? SI. That is definitely an I. Look, I. No, still not having it. All right, so let's just get rid of the search. I know it's on page 2, so that's fine. And there we go. So single use. We need atmosphere instrumentation, Atmos reaction nodes. They combine to make green science. All right, so let's first of all maybe put down some of the green science machines themselves where we want them finally, and build backwards from it, because we don't necessarily have everything we need. Oh, in fact, I've got a few of those machines already, so let's just get rid of that for a second. So let's say we go for the normal vanilla amount. Whoops. So we have 6 like this, and then each of those would feed onto this side of the line, right? I think so. Whoops. And we can just fill that with power, I guess, here, like this. And they're connected just fine. So if we then say we want the, let's just call it green science, shall we? All of that should make. So we then need to feed in atmosphere reaction nodes and atmosphere instrumentation. And to be honest, probably half a belt for each of those would be fine. So if I had, let's say, either coming in from the top or maybe down to the bottom. Let's just start it this way. Whoops. I'm going to need to feed this belt around somewhere. and feed stuff onto it. So let's take a look. We want Atmos reaction nodes, which is electromagnetic coils, and which is copper plate, 4 every 5 seconds. Okay, hang on, produces 8 electromagnetic coils, so they're doubling the copper plate, so we get 8 every 5 seconds, and iron plate is just iron plate, so there's not really much point looking elsewhere. We can make it in any tier machine that we like, so because we've got these tier 1s, let's start out with a tier 1, shall we? And we can get our bots, if I've got enough ammo, I do, just to destroy all of these. That's fine. So we need iron and copper. I was wondering what that sound was. That's me walking on snow. Okay, so we need iron and copper. Let me go and sort those out. I just wanted to get those splitters back up and running so that our belt was running normally. Okay, so we can, let's just start by putting some exploratory factories down. We're going to need to make the electromagnetic side of things, so let's assume it's much like the iron cogs, the iron gears, and let's assume it's going to be, you know, around here, something like that, and then we can then set electro, and we just need copper plate in there, and that's going to dump out the electromagnetic coils, whatever they are. So again, much like before, I'm just going to take a splitter, let's say here, and we're going to go underground this time. Similar to before. Let's see how well this does. It may not do very well, but that's okay. And we want the copper, please. Okay, so that should start that off. And then similar to before, just like this setup, let's see if this works. So we then want something going that way. And the coil's been provided. So we get 8 every 5 seconds. Maybe that's going to be too slow. Let me just upgrade that. There we go. 10, 9. Okay, so we're probably going to need a faster output. Let's do that. And then on the input, we're going to just then take that and do the same thing as we've got. Let's start with 2. And we're going to take iron plates and that to make the Atmos stuff. So we want Atmos reaction nodes. Let's just make a couple of those. Again, don't worry about the ratios yet. Let's just get the rough setup in place and put in the power poles. Okay, and I guess this belt is going the other way. Just to keep things nice and straightforward. We can then hopefully just feed the belt this way. And then in over the top. We're going to need some more power poles, but no issue with that. And then just some outputs. Oh, it needs iron plate first. Okay, that's not a problem. I'd forgotten about it, but it's still okay. So can we just put it here and have our iron plate going this way? Whoops. We're not going to need to go very far, so let's just put it that way, like that. We'll move our power poles in a little bit. And then we want a couple of long-headed inserters to grab said iron. And we'll just feed the iron in. And that should start making these, which will go up here, down and back into the sides. So we may as well feed them in. There we go. And on the other side, we need to make the other side of things, which is the Atmos instrumentation. These need microcircuits. Microcircuits need micro wafers. Micro wafers need regular wafer stamps. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3. These first two only need iron, of course. 3 is going to need copper plate, but that's okay. And then this need iron again. All right, so let's make a couple of things there. We're going to pop in these next to the iron. That's not too bad. Let's start it here again. Let's see how well this does. In fact, let's just try direct feeding first. Let's see how well that does before we have to look at the ratios too much. So we want the micro wafers. That just needs iron. And I'm going to put some power poles between you so there's no complaints. Now they're in the wrong place, of course, because I need to direct feed. I want to put that in the middle. Let's put it on this side. There we go. So micro wafers go into there, and that's going to need to direct feed. So one into there and one into there. And then this one needs micro wafers and copper plates. So it's not going to need the iron, but we're going to need the iron for the next step anyway. So we may as well put it down. And then lastly, we're going to need the instrumentation. So that can go in there, which does need iron. Okay. So now all we need is copper plate from this side. And the copper's going to come in this way. I'm going to need more splitters than this very soon, but that's okay. We can just go there for now. Then we'll go this way with the rest. And is that everything? It just needs an inserter now. Let's just make one. And that should start them to here, which I then need to feed onto this belt. Okay. And I need some more power poles, please. So we're going to need a belt going here. And go underground. And back around. Then it just needs another inserter. Let's make one. Put in a power pole for this guy. Let's put it there. And then insert onto the output, maybe? Is that everything it needs? Looks like it. When that hits 10, it should start making the first set. There we go. Alright, so that will go all the way around and get picked up, and our first green science should start getting made. Well done, I think. At least until I look at the ratios and realise it's going to be so horrible. That we'll wait for. This actually turns out to be pretty balanced. I actually had too many of these. I had 2 down. So let's just take a quick look at that, just as an introduction to ratios, because I haven't really gone into it too much of the other series. So our final product, our green science, produces 1 every 6 seconds. Okay. Don't worry about that. We'll worry about that in a minute. But to get to that point, we need this atmos instrumentation and the atmos reaction nodes. They both take 1.5 seconds, and they both produce 1. That label at the top means 1. Normally it would say 10 if it produces 10, but because it doesn't say any, it's producing 1. Okay, so every 1.5 seconds, it needs 10 microcircuits and 2 iron plates. Don't worry about the iron and copper. We'll ignore them for the purpose of the ratios. So 10 microcircuits every 1.5 seconds to produce 1 every 1.5 seconds. Okay, so 10. 10 microcircuits, also 1.5 seconds, so we can ignore this one as well and step 1 per back. So we just need 1 microwave for every 1.5 seconds. So we get 2 microwafers every 3 seconds, so that is 1.5 every that is 1 every 1.5 seconds. And in order to get that, we need 2 wafer stamps every 1.5 seconds, and we get 4 every 3 seconds. So that's perfectly balanced all the way through that chain. So we just need those 4 machines. Okay. On the other side, it's 1.5 seconds, and we just need 2 electromagnetic coils for that every 1.5 seconds. This one takes 5 to get 8 electromagnetic coils. So we divide 5 seconds by 4, and that's under 1.5 seconds. So you're fine. This should be balanced. However, we then have to consider, I guess, how many of these get used. So every 1.5 seconds, we'll have 1 of each. We know that. So this only does 1. This does uses 1 every 6 seconds, each one of these. So realistically, I think we can only get away with 4 of these machines before we need another setup here. And let me just actually remove these 2 because we can use them. But if I wanted another setup, I can't produce 6. What I'd have to do is go to 8 or 6 and then have them all backing up. So that's something that I can do. But for now, I'll just keep these a bit balanced. We'll see. Let's see how well that goes. Obviously, it's a bit dark for you on YouTube, so let me just put in some lights. Well, lights really does help in Factorio. And I run out of lights. Wow. Okay, so that is green science done, and we can then start the green science research. First of which might be useful to get advanced ore refining. We get ore sorting facility Mark IIs. That does need a few things we don't have yet, like clay brick and steel gear wheel. Certainly the steel we have, I'm not sure, I think steel gear wheel should just be a straightforward recipe. We'll check that. However, we want the ore crusher. That's also steel gear wheel. So the only thing there, we don't have clay bricks. So let's just check out the steel gear wheel first. Steel gear wheel. Okay, that's just a steel plate. That's really straightforward. What's the clay brick? This is where I find out it's probably some horrendously complicated... what? I didn't press anything. Unburnt clay brick, 4 clay brick. So we have to go through unburnt clay brick. We can do that in a furnace, so it is just like a kiln process. Unburnt clay brick, oh my god. Okay. Clay, sand, and lime. I'm sensing a rabbit hole. Yes, my rabbit hole senses are tingling. I need concentrated mud water. What on earth is concentrated mud water? Why would you... no, okay. Concentrate. I guess that's like slurry? Yeah. Okay, fine. And what else did it need? Sand and lime. Okay, so sand is something we also can't make. That's thin mud water, so that's just a slightly less good slurry. And lime? Lime is limestone. Which we... I don't even have limestone. Okay, so I'm going to have to do some research. I think I'm going to leave this episode here. I've got a couple more to actually get out, so we'll leave it here for now. We've got red and green science done. We've got a little bit more automation done. Next episode, we'll carry on. I think we're going to have to get into that rabbit hole. So I'm going to have to do some research on those, and when we come back, obviously, you will see what the setup is on those. So hope you enjoyed this episode, even though it's a little bit shorter than normal. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one, hopefully. If you've got any suggestions for any of the setups here, if you've played Angels and Pods, or if you know someone who has, feel free to get them to comment. More than happy to hear the various commiserations on my attempt to play Angels and Bobs. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.